What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of ForneverWorld, the only news source that provides anything and everything anime and manga related. And we don't bore you. We get into it. Let's do it. Okay, so how about some good news for a change? How about something that's going to make you be like, yo, things is actually looking up. Things ain't all that bad. Again, just kind of something to lift your spirits because I think it's about due. Like, while I got a whole lineup of stories for you guys, I felt it was very important to dive into this one to start off with because I ain't gonna lie. I have been seeing a narrative here and there of like, yo, there's not that much anime that we're into and, you know, manga really ain't hitting right now. Like, a lot of people are saying that aside from One Piece. That's like the exception. And to be honest with you, I feel there's some validity to it, but at the end of the day, right now doesn't mean forever. Because shout outs to Shonen Saito. I'm not gonna lie, I was even looking today like I woke up like, you know, all right, let's do some FORNEVERNEWS, get me excited about the world of anime and manga, let's talk some stuff or whatnot. And then when I saw this post, I was like, this is what I needed to get me excited. And I think this, if you're feeling a little jaded right now, if you're feeling a little bit like, I don't really care about anime and manga right now, it's not really hitting it for me, again, you might just be feeling a little jaded, hear what I'm going to tell you right here, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, the greatness is on the way. Because Shonen Saito posted on Twitter, this fall anime season is very nuts. My Hero Academia Season 6. The jury right now is still out on that one, whether or not it's going to be something that we need per se, but I get the sentiment. At the end of the day, this is supposed to be the strongest content, and then also those two OVAs that they're putting in theaters, which pretty much makes them technically like movies, but, you know, that's a side story. Either way, My Hero Academia Season 6, Mob Psycho Season 3. We're gonna get into that in a little bit, but yes, people, that alone is like, yes, mwah. Golden Kamuy Season 4. For me personally, I'm not caught up with Golden Kamuy, but Golden Kamuy Season 1 was dope, and there's a lot of people that are following it, so shout outs to that. But then the next one right here, Bleach. Bleach. My Hero Academia Season 6. Again, ideally should be the strongest. Mob Psycho returning, which a lot of people thought it wouldn't return for Season 3. Golden Kamuy Season 4. Then cool stuff. But then Bleach. Like, yo, you add that on top of that? That's crazy. Spy Family's second core. Spy Family right now is like the only thing that I'm hearing is holding down anything for the world of anime and manga. Like, right now when it comes to the world of anime and manga, like in particular with this season of anime, shall I say, Spy Family is really the one that is holding it down in popularity. Tomodachi Game is freaking amazing, but not many people are talking about it. Spy Family, however, got the mainstream going at the time for right now, and when that second core comes through, again, a lot of people are going to continue watching. To Your Eternity Season 2, that one could be a hit or miss. Story-wise, I'm sure it's going to be amazing, but art and animation, considering the fact that they're switching studios, we'll see. Eminence and Shadow, I'm not familiar. Iruma Season 3, I'm not too familiar with, but again, probably a lot of people are excited for it. Uzumaki, dog, oh my god. And when I say Uzumaki, please don't be thinking right now I'm talking about our boy Naruto or our boy Boruto. Like, I'm talking about the horror anime Uzumaki, Enter the Spiral, where pretty much people go nuts and think that everything has spirals down to the spirals on your fingertips. Like, it's a really trippy series, and pretty much I want to say it was like 3 years ago now that Adult Swim had announced, yo, we're making an Uzumaki anime. Of course, the pandemic, completely understandable. Once that hit, they had to, you know, halt production. Like, hey, what else did you expect them to do? So completely understandable there. But now it seems as though, again, based on all the announcement, that we're probably gonna get Uzumaki, which finally they're gonna show you guys what a horror anime can really do. Like, I feel like When They Cry, Higarashi When They Cry has been like the standard best you can do in terms of being really off the rails for horror anime, and I feel like Uzumaki is gonna come in and say, yo, this is a classic manga for a reason, let's make a classic anime, because the little trailer alone looks fire. Then we got Kokyu no Karasu. I've kind of heard of the name, but I'm not familiar. Gundam the Witch from Mercury. Is that the one that people are hyping up right now and saying like, yo, this is gonna be dope? And very likely Chainsaw Man and Blue Lock 2. Chainsaw Man, oh my god. Although, I don't even know, man. That's gonna be a tough one, and I feel like to a certain degree, Shueisha should probably put Chainsaw Man out either like a season sooner or a season after, because, you know, it's gonna be tough competing in the season. But the biggest thing about all of this to say is that, like I said at the beginning of this programming, is that let's start off with some good news. And to be honest with you, if even half of this is actually going down for the season of the fall season of anime, then, you know, it's going to be bright. It seems as though right now the anime and manga industry is just kind of in a preparation stage, which is good, that instead of, you know, working around the clock and dropping something every season, blah, 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 it looks like they're working really hard on a lot of really awesome stuff. And the end of the year, like third and fourth quarter of 2023, 2022 is where it's going to get spicy. So if you're feeling a little bit jaded to the medium, understandable, but just know that the drought won't last forever, people. And so let's jump into a more serious, I guess you would say, topic that technically threatens the existence of the anime and manga world, but it's a lot more serious and complex than that, because a lot of people have been passing this tweet around from Elon Musk. If you haven't heard of the dude, he's in talks right now, or I believe he's in the process of buying Twitter. I believe up to the recent interviews, he's been saying that he still hasn't technically become the owner yet, but he's in the process of buying it. Richest freaking guy in the world, literally. Well, depending on what day, it might be Bezos. You never know. But I think as of right now, he's the richest. And he had said this: at risk of stating the obvious, unless something changes to cause the birth rate to exceed the death rate, Japan will eventually cease to exist. This would be a great loss for the world. And again, you know, jokes aside, because some people will be like, yo, yeah, no more anime and manga, which technically, sure, it does threaten the world of anime and manga, because hello, anime and manga is made in Japan, but that's just a lot more of a cultural, serious thing, and that also impacts what we are you know, experiencing coming out of anime and manga. And what I mean by that is, because over there they have an issue with the birth rate that, you know, people aren't wanting to have kids because of the economy, because of work. They're like, yo, they're putting it off so late that oftentimes they're just not having kids, and it's getting really bad out there for that. And yeah, that's definitely a serious situation. Obviously, he's spitting facts. If it is that more people are dying than being born, then they seriously have a situation over there. And that's also the reason for all the wackiness that oftentimes is in their media, that like, yo, on a weekly shonen magazine, not Shonen Jump, but I think maybe Jump might do that once in a blue. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I might be totally off on that, but I'm pretty sure Jump rarely does, if they do, any of these like bikini magazines. But like weekly shonen magazine, you're gonna see models, you know, nude pretty much, or half nude on the cover of the magazine. And then, oh yeah, go read, you know, Eden Zero or Four Nights of the Apocalypse. And that's why those series also have fan service, because they understand that the customer is already coming for the cover. Like, wow, that was a pause. But it's just more so to entice people to have those type of, I guess, thoughts in a way. I mean, obviously it's going with the motto of, hey, what sells the most, you know? But still, this is definitely an alarming situation. And also the explanation behind a lot of things in Japan, in terms of like, yo, in Japan, you have people that really aren't with the times that are running and making decisions. I think now, I remember it was a few years back that the monarchy had changed, and I believe somebody had came into power, a new era had begun or whatnot. So I think that that's why we're starting to see now all of these companies. It's almost as if, you know, Wano has actually opened up. It's almost as if One Piece is a representation of what actually happened in Japan. And I think, while what Musk is saying definitely has validity to it, because hey, numbers are numbers, right? But ultimately, if this continues with this change, depending on how things go, it could either go left or it could either go right. It could either go that, hey, you know, they're going to continue down this path, or maybe with some of the changes and kind of Japan being like Wano and One Piece and actually opening up more and feeling a little bit more inviting to people. I mean, for crying out loud, somebody, PewDiePie, I believe he's initially from Sweden, right? And he was like in the UK for a while. PewDiePie just went straight over there to Japan. You know how that's gonna inspire how many people to want to go to Japan now, because they're, you know, back open and stuff like that. And just in general, as far as a society, they're way less closed in. They're way more making the changes that, you know, the rest of the world is making. So yeah, interesting stuff though, nevertheless, and it kind of invoked a little bit of cool thought. So shout outs to Elon Musk for that one. Then people, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this, because this is interesting, sad in a certain regard, and I'll get into that in a second. But again, I want to be positive with this episode and be more so that, hey, this is some pretty interesting stuff. And also why I tell you guys, when I say that, hey, Naruto, that's gonna continue on forever, like it just is, these are some of the reasons why. Because TV Tokyo, they released their fiscal year rankings, like, hey, this is what each series did. Our top properties are the ones that made the most, the ones that ultimately are their biggest stuff that they got. And they did a top 5, and they got the top 5 anime franchise by sales revenue and by gross profit margin. Now, I'm going to straight up tell you what the sad part is, or the disappointing aspect of it. The fact that Black Clover was here for many years and is not here. Black Clover doesn't have an anime right now. What do you want it to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it had an anime, it'd be a different story. But I guess it's just saddening to me. And also, I take it whoa. I'm not going to be biased. I do love Black Clover, but I'm not going to be biased right here, because, hold up. Bleach was doing it for how many years without an anime? I forgot about that. That since like 2012, Bleach has constantly been one of the top franchises for TV Tokyo. So that would be real bias to give the excuse for Black Clover. Oh, it doesn't have an anime right now. To be fair, Bleach didn't, and it was doing it anyway. So that speaks volume on Bleach's power and just how big it really is that, you know, a lot of us, including myself, we were underrating it. You know, we were sleeping on it. It was slept on by the masses, including me. I'm not gonna lie. I was really just a doo-doo head. But looking at this list, yo, for starters, let's do the by total sales revenue. For starters, at number 5, Bleach. Again, still hasn't even returned yet. What these fiscal projections are going to be, or what these fiscal results, shall I say, are going to be after the 1,000-Year Blood War begins in October. Like, if word of mouth goes crazy and the rankings are good and everything, Bleach can easily rise up to the top, probably, of this list. Then at number 4, Pokemon. Pokemon can throw a fart in the wind. Then hey, gotta catch them all. Number 3, Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd imagine the anime, that's why they continue to make more and more and more, and like they're on the 12th freaking verse at this particular point. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I totally, like, maybe towards like Zeal or Zexel, however the hell you pronounce it, Zeal, like maybe at that era I was still interested, mildly interested. In 2022 I ain't watching Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm just keeping it a buck with you. And yeah, like, shout outs to them that they've been able to keep it going for Yu-Gi-Oh! All this time now. But like, maybe the card game, I could see myself maybe at some given point, if like, you know, life happens the way I would like it to be and I got time to do things I want to do, maybe I could get into Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, even dueling again at some given point in life. I could see that happening for me. But the anime, maybe I'll rewatch the, you know, first one, and you know, I don't know. I like GX a little bit. Then the top 2 are very, very interesting. I'm not even gonna lie. Father and Son, numero 1 and 2, because their top franchise, anime franchise by total sales revenue, at number 2 is Boruto, number 1, Naruto. Wow, I am honestly shooketh. No, but again, I was trying to give that excuse for Black Clover, and you know, I showed Bleach, but also look at Naruto. It's number 1. Naruto's been over forever. Like, Boruto is running and this and that, but Naruto, to my knowledge, isn't like maybe it is in heavy syndication over there on TV. I don't really know, but regardless, Naruto's been over for a long time. It's been Boruto since 2016, right? Naruto into 2014. Boruto started like 2016. I think we had the Springtime Youth 2015 thing, but number 1 and number 2, Naruto, Boruto. Like, wow. What if, here's an interesting idea, and I thought about this. What if Naruto and Boruto continued on following the end of Boruto Part 1? And what I mean by that is, what if they simultaneously run 2 different series after this one, where the Boruto series goes, and Boruto, unfortunately, continues, at the very least in the anime side of things, to have that same feel and vibe that it's been going on, which a lot of people are really, from what I'm hearing, very disappointed and sick of the Boruto anime at the moment. Like, but they could have that continue on even into the time skip, just Boruto is Boruto. And then what if they started at the same time a more seinen, older, for people like us that we love Naruto and we're a little bit older, but we would still rock with a really solid, mature Naruto series. Like, I mean, we rocking with Boruto, Boruto's dope, but imagine if Boruto was seinen or some shit, and it really was about like the adults or some shit. Again, the characters that you originally invested in. Like, imagine they have one simultaneously running where it's maybe like a side story of like Sasuke or something along the lines of that until their next move. Because again, I will continue to say, inevitably, that will be the next chapter of Naruto with the conclusion of Boruto, and it's probably going to go back to Naruto. Look at the results of what Naruto's doing all these years later without having Naruto or Naruto Shippuden running with new episodes. I gotta stress that, because Boruto is not Naruto. It's not. Like, a lot of people watching right now are like, yes, that is facts. that is facts. Boruto is not Naruto. But then top anime franchises by gross profit margin, it slightly is different. Yu-Gi-Oh's at the bottom, then it's Bleach, then Pokemon, go catch 'em, but it still remains the same at the top, baby. It don't matter. Naruto was like, I'm top 3, and it ain't 2 or 3, you dig? Naruto number 1, Boruto number 2, Pokemon, Bleach, Yu-Gi-Oh. That is a tough lineup, but also just demonstrates the power of the original big 3. If One Piece was with TV Tokyo, One Piece would be right there. I don't believe it's with TV Tokyo. That's probably why it's not in here, because let's be real, One Piece would probably dominate everything on this list because of its power over there. But that's still speaking volumes. Naruto and Bleach, like, if they could come to some sort of thing of, hey, Naruto and Bleach, both Studio Pierrot titles, both with Shonen Jump. Maybe we could do a crossover here and there with One Piece, a Naruto, Bleach, One Piece with Dragon Ball Z crossover. Anime crossover movie is all you need to make a smash. That is the first crossover to start the Avengers line. You take the biggest ones, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z. Put them all together. Put it out worldwide. Make the best anime movie possible. Don't be favorable towards any particular one. Unless, well, maybe at the end of the day, can they be Goku? No, I had to throw that one in there. But yeah, like, that's how you would do a crossover. I don't know how we got there. But either way, that's Naruto and Bleach, bro. I know the other ones, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! I get it. But they have brand new anime coming out. Naruto has something that comes out with its name in it. Technically, Boruto, Naruto Next Generation. But you understand the pulse on that one. Okay, next up, people, I'm just going to give it to you blunt. If everyone is not special, baby, you can be what you want to be. Zule, 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 Zule. Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 to air October 2022. If you skipped out on the earlier segment, then you're surprised. If not, you're like, yo, Fornev, why are you so... Because it's Mob Psycho, baby. Honestly, just the nostalgia alone of how much I enjoyed. I remember I got a lot of fond memories of even rewatching that one. Just so many good memories with it, man. So I'm just to see Mob Psycho's back, this is good, especially at a time where, you know, when the world needed it the most. Reagan and Mom showed up to save the day. So this is really exciting. Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 airing October 2022. Oh my god, can we? Low-key, I'm ready to get through summer. I know a lot of people are probably like, no, Fornev, we want summer. I get it. But in terms of just for the anime nerd side of me, like, dog, I want to see Reagan already, okay? Like, this cannot return quick enough, to say the least, because Mob Psycho 100 Season 3, October 2022. And I'm gonna just leave it at that, lads. Okay, people, I gotta hit you with a very important update, and you're probably gonna be like, yo, Fornev, wow, like, how could you? But I just had to do it to you because the Black Clover movie was announced 409 days ago as of 5/11. So yikes, 410 days ago since the Black Clover movie was announced, and we still don't even have a proper trailer. My lord. Talk about just announcing some shit after like a handshake. Like, it was probably a couple of dudes down at the country club over there in Japan. They were there like, sore wa nan desu ka? Daijoubu, kimochi. And somehow, somewhere it was like, buraku kuroba desu. Dozo yoroshiku. And somehow they said like, hey, let's tweet this shit out on the official account. Why not? And there it is. Because, dog, what the hell? Like, Black Clover movie, like, that's kind of wild. A movie for Black Clover, and maybe they're putting out all the stops for it. Maybe they're trying to go in a different direction. I think one of the best things that it looks like Shonen Jump is doing, and just in general this whole scene is starting to do, is be a little bit more scarce, not be constant. You know, I think this could very well be the start of the end of Weekly Shonen Jump in terms of all of the changes that are being made. And I mean the weekly aspect of it, because, you know, Black Clover isn't even weekly anymore. None of the manga and Weekly Shonen Jump, the top dogs at the very least, have been weekly for a long time. Like, they usually take a break every few chapters, every like 3 or 4 chapters. I mean, One Piece hasn't been weekly in ages. Like, sure, it'll have 2 or 3 back to back, and then it'll take that break, and then sometimes there'll be a break in the magazine after the fact. Like, One Piece hasn't been weekly forever. But I know it's been 410 days since the Black Clover movie was announced, and wow, Shonen Jump, like, please don't do this again. Like, I get it, you're building anticipation, you just cut off the whole stream, right? Maybe that's the idea. Like, they twist the knob on the hose, so to speak, get you going nuts, crazy. I need it, and you're gonna keep screaming you need it, and then when they eventually open it, it's just gonna go. And if you got the metaphor the way I was giving it to you, you wouldn't be having those thoughts in your head right now, would you, lad? You're just a little bit of a dirty bird, mate. Maybe it's the hat that's making me throw the accent out, so what? Can we talk about Netflix for a moment? Can we talk about what the heck is going on with Netflix? Because apparently, according to leaks, which I'm going to get into that in a second, leaks lately, what I feel personally, to just kind of enlighten you a little bit, these leaks are, but sounds like Netflix is really going through very soon with this whole massive change, and I think personally, it's actually not something, like, I feel like they're marketing it in a different way than it actually is. Because for starters, when you hear, like, with big top class secret stuff like Netflix, like, hey, hey, rumor has it that blah, blah, blah. Oftentimes, that's Netflix that put out rumor has it that blah, blah, blah to test the field, to see, like, do these people care about if we do this? How much damage? What is the estimate? They estimating right now what the loss would be if so, or the fact that it could have a reverse reaction because, hey, if they announce 150 million things that people want and this is executed properly, then there won't be any loss. There'll be a gain because people's interest alone on, hey, did they really go ad-based, or hey, I can actually be on Netflix with just some ad. Like, it's gonna get people a little bit more like, whoa, because don't forget that Netflix is still going to be introducing new, more cost-efficient plans. Maybe it'll be like something of, hey, $2 a month and you get to watch with ads or something. Maybe that'll be the thing, and they're gonna start, playing in the ad marketing field of, hey, getting some advertisers that are going to pay top dollar for these ads for the people that are going to be paying $2 and $3, and like they'll have like an incentive of, hey, we'll give you a percentage of each dollar, blah blah blah. Like, work the business out to the best of its capability, because Netflix will introduce its planned ad-based low price subscription plan later this year after it's lost 200,000 subscribers. The fact that that keeps being pushed, like, it could be also something where, again, we're in the social media app wars era right now, and it could very well be that, like, hey, Hulu is doing this shit. Secretly, Hulu is pushing this forward because it's benefiting them, and more people are saying, oh, screw Netflix, we're going to Hulu, and I'm just only using Hulu as an example. There's HBO Max and 100 other ones, so, hey, I'm not accusing, that was just an example. Relax. So it also could be that other entities are pushing that narrative, or it could be that this is very strategic on Netflix's behalf. We gotta wait and see. I mean, half the time, most of these companies, they be rubbing elbows anyway to begin with, but still be at war. It's weird. And either way, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, personally, depending on what they do with it, I won't be so mad, because I feel like it's inevitable, and I feel like people just aren't going to give the biggest pushback that is needed to stop this. I feel like we are entering towards what is going to inevitably lead us to where cable led us. Like, it's not going to be far off to where all of the internet packages, like, the companies start buying each other out, and then there's like one big company that, you got to pay $150, $200, $250 to get all of the internet things that you want, blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like inevitably it's already heading that direction. Like, a lot of these streaming apps are positioning themselves to enter like different realms. So, like, hey, if they have a tier, let's just say, for me personally, and I know a lot of people will disagree with this one, but let's just say if it's like, yo, $2-3 a month, and hey, you got like 2 or 3 ads during like a 2-hour movie or some shit, that'd be fine. I'm cool with that. Like, I don't think that that's a big deal, and I'd actually prefer something like that, especially considering, like, yo, where we at right now with it, $20 or something for Netflix. Like, it's a little bit hefty, but I think that there's some possibilities that people actually are going to be interested. Like, do not forget that while you think like these moves are out of touch, they know what they're doing. Like, you just always got to understand, like, oftentimes with these giant conglomerates, they know what they're doing. This is a company with hundreds of employees, and maybe they make mistakes once in a while. Like, they're not always on point. Like, hey, look what happened with Xbox back in the day. Remember that whole situation with the DMR where they were trying to push that forward, and they had to do the whole reversal, and every console you had to do an update? Which, now that I think about it, God knows if that was planned, because, hey, now you had to download, as soon as you got one of their devices, the DMR thing to begin with, and you have to hook up to the internet via the thing. See, a lot of these things is, to quote Ice from the Joe Budden podcast, it's all a rollout. Like, a lot of this stuff do be rollouts, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a rollout for their ad-based thing. Like, hey, guys, we're suffering, but we're figuring it out, and then when it comes, you guys are actually going to be enticed by the pricing, because they probably have, like, the biggest specialists around that know what type of prices is going to make you get excited for this. Like, just, you guys will see by the end of the year, Netflix is going to be flexing on them, and y'all going to be like, oh, we coming back, daddy. Speaking of daddy coming back, Dragon Ball Superhero. If you're excited for this film, if you're looking forward to this film, hey, if you're even just care to hear about it because it's Dragon Ball and that nostalgia buzz is, oh my god, I love it, then you might be excited about this, because probably you still gonna go watch that Dragon Ball Superhero film in theaters. Like, me personally, I feel like my nieces and nephew are gonna be that push that make me go watch it. They're just gonna be like, hey, it could be a cool time or something, so I might go. Shut up for them, low-key, you're dying trying to go, just quit it with the bullshit. You're just a hater of CG 3D. Like, just stop. Knock it off. Knock it off. Dragon Ball Super superhero movie English dub in theaters. Crunchyroll is officially bringing Toei Animation's brand new Dragon Ball Super superhero film to theaters across the world this summer. The latest movie will be released across the globe in both subtitled and dubbed formats in North America, Latin America, Europe, Australia/New Zealand, Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. And these sales numbers are going to be absolutely fascinating. I'm gonna just keep it real. This is going to be an absolutely fascinating case study, because look at it right here, right? For starters, one of the biggest case studies is, well, what does the biggest title in America, Dragon Ball Super, what does that do as a 3D CG movie in theaters? The biggest anime, action anime, guaranteed to get people at least somewhat interested to come to theaters no matter what it is. What does that do? That is going to tell us a lot of the future of where things go. If this flops, they go back to the drawing board and we get Broly 2, or we get Bardock versus Broly versus Turles' foot or some shit. Like, that's where it goes. It just goes totally. So I don't want to be that person to say, hey, don't support this film, because a lot of people worked on this film. I'm sure there was a lot of hard work, dedication, and all sorts of stuff, because they were probably, hey, paid to make this type of content, because whoever's idea was it to let's go 3D CG. It's not like it was a genie that just said this is the, like, you know, no, there had to be somebody that said, you know what, this is, well, or a lot of somebodies, this is where we're going with it. Maybe that new Dragon Ball room. Oh my god, whoever's in the Dragon Ball room, stop. But I guess we gotta wait and see. Either way, Dragon Ball superhero movie. Another big case study is, hey, if this fails, where do they go? Like, that's gonna be a big thing too. Like, if it does, let's just say horrible, right? Let's just say, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but let's just say Broly, week one in the United States, did $30 million, right? Hypothetical, again, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head. Editor, put the real numbers so people don't feel like I'm spreading misinformation. And if it's 30 million that it's competing against, and this one, week one, does 12 million, then clearly it's like a massive failure, especially if over time it doesn't catch up either. Then they're probably gonna be like, yo, okay, they clearly don't want this. So I don't want to be the guy to say don't support this film, but it's a tough situation, because it's like, yo, I prefer 2D, and if, you know, this not doing well for me to get 2D, like, I'm not gonna push for it, but I'm also not gonna be like championing it either, because as cool as the fact that they're doing this Gohan and Piccolo situation and all of that jazz is, like, okay, so I want to be honest with you, I haven't talked about manga like that lately, and I really want to talk about these One Piece spoilers, because I am still caught up. Y'all know I still love One Piece, so I'm going to talk about these One Piece spoilers for the next chapter. I believe it's 1049. You have been warned. I try to put this a little bit deep into the episode, but yeah, you have been warned. This little segment right here, which always check the description. The timestamps will be there to guide you if you want to just jump over this one, because I got to talk about it. Based off these spoilers, it says, and maybe by the time this video comes out, the full chapter might be out, I don't know, but flashbacks of Kaido as a kid. His country tries to sell him to the Marines, but he escapes. He rampages in Hachinosu, I think it's Blackbeard's island, and Rocks invites him to his crew. Oh my god, I'm not even trying to be funny, because I know you're probably looking at me like, yo, Fornev, why is your facial expression looking like you know what I'm saying, like you about to pop one out? But oh, alone, this is just so exciting. A young Whitebeard appearing. Oh my god. Rocks flashback suddenly ends. Oh, I wanted more. I want a whole movie. I want a whole spin-off anime. Why isn't there a spin-off anime? Oda must have a contract where, like, nah, y'all not doing that. Like, y'all could do those little gag ones, Koisuru and Beast, but nothing else. Then Orochi's grandma invites Kaido. Flashback ends with Kaido telling King he knows who Joy Boy is. What? Hey. Back to the inundation. Denjiro hugs Hiyori. Luffy's punch hits Kaido. Flashback continues. King asks, who is it then? Kaido says, the one who will defeat me. King says, then he will not appear. Onigashima falls near the capital. Momo falls. Break next week. Oh my god. And yeah, this just sounds so freaking good. Holy cow, One Piece is greatness. And I know maybe this is just a short thing, but I just wanted to read it to you guys and say that this sounds freaking incredible. Like, I can't even believe the Rocks flashback again. I wish Oda would have just gave us straight, like, that probably would have been the best arc, but then again, he knows what shonen fans usually do when he stays in a flashback too long, because realistically, that flashback could have gone forever. And man, I even would be fine if when One Piece ends, they do a spin-off series just telling these tales, like seeing Roger's era. Like, actually, instead of going the Boruto route with One Piece, imagine afterwards is just, okay, now we're gonna just straight up show you every piece of Roger's adventure from start to finish. I wonder, like, would you still be down for that? I gotta ask that big question right now. Would you still be down for One Piece after it ends if it's like, hey, next is One Piece, or half piece, so to speak, the story of Roger, like, and they're just gonna show Roger's journey from start to finish, and they're not gonna go the Boruto route? I think that would keep the series afloat for way longer, now that I think about it. Like, don't get me wrong, a Boruto-esque series would be so fire, of, you know, running into Robin years later, Nami years later, Chopper years later, like Luffy's son, or if he's a Marine, you know, you could do the opposite thing, the irony, blah blah blah. Like, you could always do that route, or you could just show us Roger's adventure, or you could show us Captain Rock's adventure from the beginning. Like, any one of those stories will keep the original fan base, and you can add the new fan base on top of it, because it's a brand new story, but also all the old fans will get any reference you put in there and will worship it, because One Piece is awesome. Actually, greatness. I take that back. It's not just awesome, it is greatness. That is, of course, if like they have some sort of blueprint from Oda, and even then, without Oda involved, I'm sure the foibles of like, hey, without the genius behind it, what really happens will definitely come to play. But still, I feel like that would be a better option now that I think about it, opposed to just doing the whole Boruto route. Next, let's jump into the top 10 weekly chart by series, basically the top 10 selling series of the week, not just individual volumes. Number 10, One Piece still hanging in there, 90,830. Dawn to Dawn, that's one that I'm going to get back into real soon, and I don't know what type of video, somehow, some way, maybe I want to get back into it and make a video about it, because I remember that being freaking awesome, and I want to get back into the things that I remember were really awesome. Golden Kamui in there, 101. Rurouni Kenshin Hokkaido arc, that's crazy that that's still going, 120. Natsume's Book of Friends, 135. Tokyo Revengers back on the scene, 171. Or not back on the scene, it's been because of the newest volume, but you get what I'm saying. Jujutsu Kaisen number 4, 177. And then top 3, very interesting, One Punch Man, 228. It probably dropped a new volume. My Hero number 2, 514. I'm pretty sure that's from the Star and Stripe volume. And Spy Family, 604. That anime doing gangbusters for it. And yeah, again, very solid list of like every series on there. First of all, aside from like Natsume's Book of Friends, I know every series on there. Pretty awesome. Once again, letting you guys know that I am going to get back into Dawn to Dawn. Shout out to my guy Krista, wherever you at, my guy. Like, every time I think about Dawn to Dawn, I think of you, dog. Like, what? If you don't know about my guy, he did that song Makima. Go check that out. And some quick news, just giving you guys a couple of updates. For starters, TV anime Kingdom season 4, we got a new episode visual, which I'm not caught up on the Kingdom anime, but this looks kind of cool. But again, Kingdom is like the pretty much almost like the grandfather now at this point of the CG thingy-majig. Like, oh my god, imagine if Boruto would have been kingdomized. Like, can we call it kingdomized now? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that they started adding in more of 2D animation to Kingdom, but yeah. Then also a little update here that I really wanted to share with you guys is the 7 Deadly Sins 4 Nights of the Apocalypse anime that we talked about it being announced. Now we got a clearer visual of this one, and I wanted to look at it. Again, that's the main character in the front, and then in back of him is Meliodas. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm so skeptical. Like, first of all, the art looks so beautiful on this one, and why does Meliodas look like he's getting shorter? But yeah, the art is so beautiful on this one. But are we gonna get, you know, like what the 7 Deadly Sins season 1 looked like? What studio is going to be attached? Is it going to be a Netflix exclusive? I'd imagine it has to be a Netflix exclusive. I'd imagine if they have any common sense, unless they're just more going the cheaper model of we don't care, people are going to talk about it, and enough people are going to watch it to get us our, you know, a return on investment. If that's their case, then they might not care and do the whole 3D CG from those, you know, special movies to this. They might just go, or they could recognize that, yo, fans don't want that, and majority of fans are going to fall off. Let's just make a 2D anime and a beautiful one like the very first season. Like, if we could get what season 1 of the 7 Deadly Sins looked like with 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, this will be huge, and I will watch and talk about the living crap out of it. I'll be honest with you, I will. But as it stands right now, I'm glad to get the clearer visual. Meliodas is getting shorter, what the heck. And some people are telling me that, because I'm under the impression, based off like the first chapter and what I've been told, that this is a sequel manga, but some people are saying that this is a prequel, and the way Meliodas is dressed there makes me think it could be a prequel back when he was, you know, before the Sins went on the run and all that stuff, or is this after, like way after? I'm confused, lad, I'm confused. Then let's talk about the conclusion of Jujutsu Kaisen. Zero's run in the movie theaters, that is. Jujutsu Kaisen Zero anime film to conclude theatrical run on May 29th. After a record-breaking 5-month run, which, yeah, I've been in there forever. They were really trying to go for that #1 spot. That kicked off on December 24th last year. It was announced today that Jujutsu Kaisen Zero will finally depart Japanese theaters May 29th, which is interesting. They're giving like a little bit of a breather room, because then Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie will be released on Blu-ray DVD September 21st, 2022. So that's the little gap that they're leaving in between the theater run and that. But yeah, they tried it, lad. I think, what is it? They probably know that realistically they're not going to be able to go up any more spots on the rankings of like the biggest movie of all time, biggest anime film, all that stuff. They probably recognize like that's probably out of our grasp at this particular point to go up anymore. So let's just end it here. We had an incredible run, and while Jujutsu Kaisen Zero didn't do what Demon Slayer did, which ultimately I'm starting to feel more so like a lot of everything that's happened with the manga industry following Demon Slayer is partially a result of the explosion of Demon Slayer. I feel like Demon Slayer put a lot of people onto anime and manga, and maybe some of them they recognized that it wasn't for them, or they fell out of it or whatever, but I think Demon Slayer gave a trickle effect to the anime and manga industry, very recent with, you know, everything with season 1 and whatnot, and the industry didn't realize at the time that, 90% of this shit is because everybody is loving Demon Slayer. They're finding out more and more about anime and manga. At the very least, it's an interesting idea, and I do think that benefited Jujutsu Kaisen, because hey, like a big dark shonen did massive in theaters, let's put another big dark shonen in there and see what happens, and it performed. And I'll probably buy it on Blu-ray as well, because I really enjoyed that movie, and god, that original cast was so fire, and Yuta's such a boss. Okay, next up, people, Spy Family does it again. We got a couple of pieces of Spy Family news. For starters, apparently when it comes to my anime list, I don't know if it's still currently this, but Spy Family had achieved the second highest rated anime over on my anime list. And again, that's just weird, because like a lot of these series, like in particular, I believe the #1 for the longest time was like Full Metal Alchemist. So how the hell a series that's been rated for years and years, all of a sudden, again, it could be a lot of new anime fans that came on the scene, and maybe that's why, but it's kind of crazy for my anime list to be that highly rated, second highest rated anime. But shout outs to that, because also Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo has 18 million copies in circulation for volumes 1 through 9, essentially averaging 2 million sales a volume. Very, very good. And with the anime out right now, I'm now going to call it that. If not by the end of this year, then definitely within next year, Spy Family is going to easily be, if not top 3, definitely top 5 highest selling manga of the year, because it's doing gangbusters already. 18 million copies in circulation. How many has it done this year? I want to know. And how many is it going to do, considering the anime is going to be a 2-core run? It looks like Spy Family, now that I think about it, is interesting, right? Let's take a look at this for a second. It's almost as if Shueisha has sectioned off the year for different anime fandoms. And if you're an anime fan of everything, then cool, you win all across the board. But just look at it right now, like the fact that we're in this quote-unquote little drought of what it feels like. They have the Spy Family, the family-oriented anime. You're not going to get distracted from the little cute family anime when ultimately the action anime aren't there. In fact, you're going to gravitate towards it because there is no big punches flying. Like if Chainsaw Man was out right now, nobody would be talking about Spy Family, or at the very least it would nowhere close to be as popular, because everybody would be just riding with the Chainsaw Man hype. Like, just keeping it real. So what if Shueisha, which it would be smart, has sectioned off the different anime fandoms for different years? Like, we're going to put the more family-oriented thing at the top of the year, then mid-year, we're going to put this one, end of year, all the big action stuff, Bleach, My Hero, Chainsaw Man, we're going to throw it there. And they're doing like quarterly releases for different fandoms. While, that makes a lot of sense. Also, that means that like shonen fans, for example, we're starving until October. Like, when everything comes in October, great. Until then, we're gonna be starved out, which is not quite bueno, my lord. And let's take a look at this real quick, courtesy of Jose_K regarding World Trigger, because this is how it's done, people. Despite the author's breaks, fans have stayed, and now with the new anime seasons, the series is living its golden age, reaching new heights. Because if you look, or new highs, shall I say, if you look at this is how it's done. Slow and steady has won the race time and time again. And look at the very beginning of it, volume 1 all the way through. It wasn't until after volume 15 that there was a dip, and then volume 19 it started peaking, it went down a little bit, and then now with its latest 2 volumes it has risen and continued to rise. World Trigger, shout outs to this author. It's a shame about, you know, all of the health issues, but at the very least the universe has rewarded this person with a huge amount of a loyal fan base and success, and look at that. That's really, really dope. Then quickly, since we're towards the end of the episode, I could talk about whatever I want. And I want to talk about a little bit of, just a smidge, mate, of hip-hop. Because in case you ain't hear about it, Kendrick Lamar is back. He dropped The Heart Part 5 and also his album. I believe it's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers as of 5/13 midnight will be out basically Friday the 13th. Is it Friday the 13th? Hold on, let me look. Oh shit, he's coming Friday the 13th. Yo, this is gonna be interesting to see. I didn't realize that Kendrick's dropping. Wow. So Kendrick dropping midnight Friday the 13th. If you haven't heard The Heart Part 5, highly recommend it. It was honestly a masterpiece all the way through. It was just beautiful. Like, of course, everybody's going to talk about the ending, the Nipsey stuff. Personally, that hit me very deep. In particular, there was a certain part that when I hear that one, it gets me teary-eyed. But just in general, I love the beauty of the positivity that Kendrick brought with that song. Like, that song is just, it hit different. It spoke to my soul. Shout outs to that song. And also, this album is, I haven't been this hype for an album since probably last year's Cody from Lloyd Banks, what is it, Course of the Inevitable, like that album, which I've still been playing damn near every other day. Like, that was like one of the most anticipated for me, because Banks was, you know, I've been riding with Banks forever. But then when I saw, like, yo, because I was a little skeptical, right, with Kendrick Lamar. Like, the last concert I really went to was the Damn Tour. I went to a concert back in like 2017 or something like that. So that was the last time I went to a concert. It was a beautiful, special moment. I had went with like my sister, and it was an amazing time. So to see Kendrick come around, like, I feel like Kendrick came at the right time right now. He got the album cover out, very interesting album cover, from the thorns around his head, like representing Jesus, but also him in like the apartment, kind of bringing it back to the beginning, so to speak, of, you know, Section 80, so to speak, you know, if you think about it. And, you know, him with his kid. It's just, honestly, I don't know. This is really the most anticipated I've been for an album, like I said, since Lloyd Banks' album last year. Cole put out a great project. Like, that album was probably the first or second between Lloyd Banks and Cole for last year. Banks was just, you know, more anticipated, but Cole dropping that album, the off season, I love that album too. This one, if it continues on of what Kendrick released with The Heart Part 5, and it has this vibe, and Kendrick is, you know, giving that real shit, so to speak, oh my god, I can't wait. And wow, although it is very interesting that he is, you know, leaving TDE. I mean, TDE is going, you know, in an interesting direction. You know, they got a room full of mirrors. Very excited about that. Like, yo, dog, you got Daylight, Ichiban, Don. Y'all got some heavy hitters on that one. So even though, you know, Kendrick is seemingly leaving, they have some really high quality acts over there as well. So they're gonna be alright. So yeah, just support Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers by Kendrick Lamar, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very hefty and interesting project. Dropping Friday the 13th, PG Lang. I can't wait to see what's going down. Yo, imagine Kendrick goes a different direction. Like, a lot of people are expecting, like, he's gonna go after Drake. He's gonna finish off Cole. You know, he's really coming for it. Imagine he has, like, the first record is him, Drake, and Cole. That would shatter the internet. I ain't gonna lie. I think the positivity of that would be more impactful than the he's coming for them. I think it could be a massacre, so to speak, of Friday the 13th, of bringing the big-headed, you know what I'm saying, the what do you call them, the three-headed monster? Big-headed. They not big. Well, Drake might be a little big-headed, I guess, maybe a little bit, because, you know, that's his stilo. But, like, the other two seemingly grounded, although Cole lately been talking some shit, but I don't know. And it's so weird. I never realized how much, and maybe it's because of the experiences I've had, and maybe that's a whole testament to the type of artist that Kendrick Lamar is. While while I've loved a lot of Drake music, I've loved a lot of Cole music. Cole is a really fucking awesome person from, you know, what he's done in terms of inspiring people. But Kendrick, it wasn't until Damn that I really got into him, and that concert, seeing what he did there, the performance he put on, and I recognizing this man is an artist's artist, like, and then the message and everything, like, yo, I can't fucking wait, dog. Midnight, I'm gonna just be refreshing for that shit. I'm not paid to promote this, honestly. I just love great music, and TDE has developed one of the greatest artists of our time, Kendrick Lamar. Hopefully this album lives up to the expectations. We will see. And last but not least, Sony plans to increase PS5 shipments for 50%, lads. So if you've been down bad, like, oh dear lord, me heart can't take it, mate, I fucking need me a little bit of PlayStation 5. Here's your opportunity, because there's, okay, let me just stop. This is a good thing, I guess. I mean, honestly, I feel like the PlayStation 5, in terms of what it has to offer, is like the worst of all the consoles in recent times. Like, just being honest with you, there hasn't been anything that has been like the exclusive to make me go, oh my god, it's like, I've had it sitting there for a ill minute. I use it for, like, you know, whatever, like social media. Like, look, I got YouTube pulled up on it as I'm on YouTubeception, baby. But yeah, 50%. So if you wanted a PlayStation 5, more than likely it's going to be a lot more accessible, unless the scouters figure out a way to ruin that shit too. But yeah, people, that's all we have for this one. Let me know what you guys think. Most important story, favorite story, anything that I didn't talk about, maybe an album that I didn't talk about, something, you know, music related. I'm definitely going to be talking a lot more music here, other places. Like, you're going to get a lot more music talk from me here soon, because I love talking about music. And Kendrick, I ain't gonna lie, the artistic expression that he delivered on that song, if he delivers that with that album, it's gonna be crazy. But also, it's inspired me to, like, yo, do you, be you, dog. Like, yeah. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day, and remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life. Bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and you guys just watched another episode of ForneverNews. By the way, people, while I got you here quickly, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe and that bell to get all notifications. We talk about anime and manga around these parts, and a whole bunch of other really cool stuff. So yeah, do that. You what I know, so just go.